I think the situation in which we are now differs from the situation from the beginning of the 1970s. I think now we are in the situation when the global overhang of demand over supply is much stronger. That means that the inflationary forces are stronger than they were before. I think we can talk now about a supply shock, but I would not call it a supply-driven inflation, because I think that we see actually with all these various supply shocks the economic activity to continue to be relatively strong. We don't see almost anywhere any increase of unemployment. So in this context, the situation differs from what it was in the 1970s, when we saw economic activity to go down and we also saw an increase in unemployment. So this differs. And there are also two other things which make the situation different. The first one is that we have a much less automaticity of indexation of various sources of income now as compared to 1970s, where many sources of incomes were indexed. It's not the case now, which actually would mean that the pro-inflationary forces should not be that strong. But I described the situation before where I saw the global overhang of demand over supply, which goes in the opposite direction. And the second part, where I think we differ now from the 1970s, is the independence of central banks and credibility of central banks, which is now much stronger than it was in 1970s. But this independence is effective only then if central banks use their instruments to fight inflation, and I think we should do that. Well, I don't want to speak about the role of the European Central Bank, because the Czech Republic is outside the euro area. I can talk about the Czech National Bank. I think we have to adjust to the situation, and I think it will be necessary in the current situation, given the high tightness of the Czech labor market in particular, but also for some other reasons, to continue with tightening our monetary policy. I think it will be necessary. Of course, we have to be careful to watch this situation every day. We have to see what development will bring about. For instance, we could see a cut-off of gas deliveries from Russia, which would be a new situation, and then we would need to reassess, do we need to continue with tightening of our monetary policy or not? And a lot will depend also on the reactions of other central banks and on the exchange rate development.